Hey cycling community, this is Steve, Grusis the Cycling Greek. It's Thursday after work and I'm jumping into this 25-mile Zwift race and I'm feeling pretty good, and I'm surprised I'm feeling pretty good because the last Zwift race I did was a crit on Sunday and I wasn't feeling that great and my performance showed it, and a lot of it had to do with accumulated fatigue, I believe, because a day before I did 100 kilometers on Zwift. It was raining that day. This is the category Bs, and this is one of the larger races I've been in. This has about 45 people in it. This race will take about an hour to do, and even though I'm feeling good, because I'm doing squats and deadlifts and Bulgarian squats and this and that during the off season, there's still a question if I can be able to hang on with everybody through the entire race. Add on top of that I am 67, and then add on top of that this is a pretty strong group I'm finding. In fact, we started pretty strong off the line like what we usually do, and I got myself in the pack, so I hopefully can relax just a bit and recover. Of course, this is probably going to be more like recovering under stress. You'll notice looking at me at the lower left-hand corner that I am talking, now actually putting in a text. We had just a little bit of banter before the race, but then I got a real interesting message during the race. I'm always amazed and thrilled when somebody mentions that they like my videos, but this is like the next level. I actually got mentioned somewhere. I'll see if I can reach out to these guys and maybe we can do something together, because I have quite a bit of information about exercise in the heart. And it's probably stuff you haven't heard before. That's part of what my channel is about. All right, enough of that. Back to the action on the screen. This course has 6 laps in it. 25 miles, 6 laps, and now we're going up the main climb on the first lap. With my VO2 max starting around 285 or 290, I'm well above it. And now I'm starting to think, I'm still with these guys, and I'm in like a 33rd, 30th position out of 45, and I'm getting to the top with them, so I'm safe on this one. I'm starting to think, how long am I going to do it? Look at the look on my face. Yeah, this is pretty tough. And now I have a little bit of a gap to make up. Someone with fire socks is going so hard that they're lighting up the ground. I like that because I can see how hard people are going, and so that means that I got to keep on it. Okay, so now I'm back in the 200s, but man, I was on the flats and I was having to go over 400 watts, 450 just to make a connection with these guys. And there's a couple guys off the front still. So the ones at the front, who I assume are pretty strong, are going to go after them. And so they're going to stretch us out. But it seems like they're not doing that, thank goodness. We still have a little bit of a climb. I'm still feeling it. I'm around 300 watts. I'm really starting to think that this old guy at this point with this group doesn't have a lot of repeatability left. I gotta do this 5 more times. We are now toward the end of the first lap. And pretty much I've been sitting in the pack, and like I'm doing now, but now I'm starting to see areas of weakness. So here's another climb on the back end of the first lap. It's not as bad as the first climb, but it is pushing me, and now I'm starting to get a gap to the others. I don't have that little sign up ahead that says you're 4 meters behind or 2 meters behind, so hopefully I'm still connected in that respect. But we get over the top, and I do make contact with these guys, but I can tell you it's cost me. In fact, I didn't make contact yet. They're still pushing it on the front. And there's the close gap message. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm in the 300s, but finally make some contact. And we're coming into the start-finish, what I call the start-finish. So this is the end of the first lap, and this will also be the final finish line after that 6th lap. My head's still down. I'd come into that bridge and I slowed up a bit because I was with people, but I'm now getting gapped and I'm going slower. So now I have to put out more energy so I can reconnect and stay with the front pack. As it turns out, I never did connect. So now, after lap 1 of 6 laps, I'm dropped. The next thing I did is took stock of the situation. So I looked at the right-hand side graphics, and I see that I'm in 35th of 45. And I see there's a person about 16 seconds behind me and another one that's 14 seconds ahead of me. In fact, it's a pack that's about 14, 15 seconds ahead of me. I doubt I'm going to catch those guys, but I'm going to do what I can. Maybe someone's going to drop off of that and I can connect with them. Because I have such long ways to go, I have to find a pace that I can stay away from somebody behind me while I try and catch somebody ahead of me. Anyway, that's the plan. At the end of lap 2, so far so good with the plan. I look at the graphics on the right and I've actually put time on the person in back of me, and the person has fallen off in front of me. So it's about 21 seconds to the guy in back of me, and the guy in front of me is about 14 seconds. At about the halfway point in the race, three guys caught me, and I was, fairly surprised. But they were maybe working together. But then all of a sudden, I saw all these other riders that are not listed on the graphics on the right because they are in the C category. It may be that those three got a little bit of a ride with those others. You work with what you got. Nothing wrong with that. Jumping ahead a couple laps to the 5th to the 6th laps, we're now starting the main climb. To state the obvious, it's been a lot easier hanging with the C's than it has been with the B's. I can pretty much park myself near the front, and if the group starts to go a lot faster, then I'll have an easier time to hang with them, obviously, than I did with the B's. I'm keeping it in the low to the mid 300s, and as you can see by the look on my face, I'm not that stressed. We're just about at the top, and it's not a problem for me to hang with these guys. But the race is not over yet. Accumulated fatigue, especially because of the squats and deadlifts I was doing the day before, it's starting to rear its ugly head. Now up ahead you see a rider that has maybe like a 3-second lead on us, and that's one of the C categories, so that's why you don't see him on the graphics on the right. So apparently the graphics on the right, like I was alluding to before, is just showing the B's. Now he's starting to come back a bit because that's a lot of energy to try and maintain for a lap and a half, or a lap and 3/4. So I think he's dialing back just a bit. The pack is dialing up to get to him. And I can tell that I need to rest a lot because I'm going to have a bit of a challenge going up that climb again for the last time on the next lap, quite possibly. Let's jump there and see what actually happens. So we're at the bottom of the climb, and I'm parked myself near the front again, and it looks like there's people that are starting to dial it up. My wattage is now going up past 350, and it's starting to approach 400, actually over 400 now. So these guys are putting in some wattage here. So I can tell you I am feeling it in my legs because, again, of what I was doing the day before. But I'm still with these guys, and I'm actually toward the front, so I just need to get on somebody's wheel and dial back the wattage a bit because we still have that climb on the back, and that's going to lead into the finish. There is just under half a mile between the top of that back end climb and the finish. So let's jump to the finish, or actually let's jump to that back end climb. I am toward the back as we start that back end climb, and I may have been thinking about making a run for it, going through the pack, getting some draft, and then taking off, but I probably rethought about that because these guys were just too strong, and my legs were it just didn't have the power to maintain that. The only chance I have now is to take off from these guys before I think they're going to be starting their sprints. Well, that jump better come quick because I'm only 0.3 miles away. So I'm toward the back, and I'm probably thinking about making a run for it. It's right about now that I realize that I only have enough power to maintain for 5 seconds or 3 seconds. So basically, I'm just going to try and sprint at the end. And of course, I can't sprint. So there's the bridge, and the finish is going to be right after that. I'm now putting everything I can into it, and I'm trying to stay away from those guys in back of me. I don't think I'm going to catch anybody in front of me. And I'm actually standing. I rarely stand, so it shows you what kind of a sprinter I am. Oh, I passed somebody too. Okay, so there are, I think, 3 Bs that were in this group, and one of them beat me, and my goodness, I was able to beat the other one. Out of the 45 starters in the Bs, there were 34 finishers, and I finished 29th. I hope you enjoyed this video and you got something out of it. Look for my upcoming Xbox series. That's going to be between the holidays, and I'll be writing every day except for maybe Christmas, and giving you a little bit of information each day. I was inspired to do the Xbox series by the Vegan Cyclist 30-Day Train Like a Pro series. Until the next one, always remember, comment, like, subscribe, The Cycling Greek.